guiding in terms of completion of the JD. Okay, and not all the JD will have these programming languages. That's for sure. So we might choose JD. We might apply to the opportunity which are basically excluding language. And if there are excluding and you want to apply, it's really good opportunity. Then you can tell them I have just started learning, and it might take some time. But yes, it's a kind of on a learning curve right now, something like that. Okay, chalo. Any other question as of now?
Sorry, sir, I
I
didn't
have
catch
one
it.
more question.
Go ahead, please, sir.
So that data analyst Python, you already start the class, right? And which class? Which day you touch in week?
It's going to start, sir. It's not started yet, and you'll see the starting flyer and starting date in the candidate counseling session as well. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, Harini ma'am, you were asking something.
Yes.
Please go.
Sorry, sir, I wasn't able to, I didn't have the time to record, so I will record after the session and I'll put it, because I just wanted to show how the text split and the text to column works. Even if it's 10,000, or if we can do it in 2 minutes, we can split it.
Sure.
So I just wanted to show it to all of I want to share it with my teammates so they will be able to do it. I mean, we don't even have to go all the way to the flash fill, because flash fill has got more constraints actually.
Right. It's a pre-programmed AI in Excel.
Yes.
AI, they try to put in artificial intelligence to this micro programming, but still it's very restricted, and as you say, it's a challenging thing. But in a simpler Excel sheet, in a cleaner data files, we can do it in a microseconds, right? That's why we learn those what you can say, flash fill, Control E.
Flash fill works only when I was playing around with the data, with the raw data. I was changing the raw data to see when the flash will, if there is no constraints, it will work. So that is very hard to make it even there are 10,000 or 100,000 rows. You will not know where where each and every field is different. So there might be 100 permutations and combinations, which you might not know.
Clean data, madam. Clean data.
So to clean itself, it will take a long time, because there are permutation combinations of different combinations. So in that case, the only scenario this works is like text split and text to columns works in no time. So I just wanted to show that.
Sure, ma'am. You can show it in our next session. Please don't worry.
Yes, I will record it and I will pass it on in WhatsApp.
That'll be great, ma'am. Okay, chalo. Let's move on. Today we're going to understand really a bit complicated topic called oh man, this is what called pivot table. Pardon me. So pivot table is a kind of a data modeling facility available in Excel. Here in pivot tables, what we do, we create relational tables within our Excel, and then we normally try to present in the well-built model. So the visualization is also part and parcel of pivot tables. Pivot table can be pronounced in a different way, like pivot tables and all those things. Stick to pivot tables, the way North American pronounce. Okay, and there are different versions of it. Whenever you join your organizations, we might pronounce it a bit differently. That can be a scenario, but let's stick to pivot tables as of now. Now pivot tables, as the name suggests, these are sort of a table. So we are looking at table as an object. As you see on the screen, we have collected a simple data of around 24 odd rows for a car dealership. This is a car inventory data. So what we have here, as a data analyst, I'll first try to observe. I'll try to understand the data first. Just open the Excel sheet, open the data set. It can be a CVS, XLS file. Just open it and try to observe what it contains. So let's go through this table, whatever we have. It has make of a car, like it has Honda, Toyota, Nissan, Ford, Chevrolet, and so on and so forth, and Dodge as well. So there are 4 or 5 makes of the cars given in this data. Then we have different models within these makes. So for Honda, we have Accord. For Toyota, we have a Camry. For Nissan, we have Altima. For Toyota, we have as well Corolla. Then for Honda, we also have a Civic. Then for Chevrolet, we have Silverado, Impala, we have Ford Escape as well, and so on and so forth. So these are different type of models available in these different car makes. So these car companies like Honda, Nissan, Toyota have these models at their dealership. Then we have colors of car. We are just trying to understand, trying to analyze, trying to observe the data, and then we'll process it via pivot tables so that you can relate to the data, right? Then we have this mileage in the sense, if the car is older, you normally have mileage on the car. So like the car is driven. So if you talk about Honda Accord Red, it has driven 63 k 512 miles. The current price is basically 4,000. The cost can be 3,000. So what is cost? Cost is actually at what price if you sell it in the market, or at what price. Cost is basically a negotiable price wherever you purchase the vehicle from someone. It's a car dealership, right? So you purchase the car from someone and that's the cost. Price is basically whatever you labeled on the car. So when you say Honda Accord Red, cost is 3,000. So you have to pay 3,000 to get that car, and 4,000 is basically what you can sell the car for. Or you might get the 4,000 as a selling price. Okay, and cost is basically purchase price. Does that make sense to you? Any question here? Now, when it comes to margin or the profits, the cost, the price minus cost is my earning. Cost minus price is my margin, what I'll earn to sell this car, right? And here, let's try to understand how we can, analyze this data with a tool called pivot table in our Excel. Okay, let me take it to the Excel. Have you understood the table? Have you observed the data, how it comes, what it is? Is it correct? Is it clean or not? Have you got that thing? Have you understood how to do that? We are doing it for, go ahead. You have to say something, ma'am.
Is the cost, the basic cost and price, is that inclusive of taxes or something like that? Or
no, don't make it complicated. Cost is basically whatever you pay whenever you procure that item, and price is basically when you sell this thing, you might get these many dollars in your pocket. So when you talk about margin, the profit is basically the price minus cost is my margin is my profit. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
sure. Okay, so let me take back to the Excel and let try to understand how can I basically, where is, okay, how can I basically apply pivot tables to this and how it will be beneficial for me. Could you see my Excel screen?
yes.
Okay, great. Sorry. We normally start with something like this, right? Now let's understand a new phenomena called objects. For a computer, everything is an object. So here we have these Excel sheet as an object, and in Excel sheet we have these rows and columns, and this is what we call data set. Now this data set, if you want to include in a single object, now the data set is basically different object, rows, columns. So cell is an object which is basically kind of packed object, as we can say. Now to have one single object for processing, what I'll do, I'll select the data set, I'll select the data which I want to refer to, oh come on, and then I'll basically rename it, I'll basically build it into one object. So how do you do it? You select the data set including the all the rows and columns, and then you'll go to insert, and there are some options called tables. So here we have pivot table, recommended pivot tables, and tables. Okay, let's go ahead with the table. Now it shows you how the table is distributed. The table is distributed from 1B to G25. So 1B to G25. This is my G25. These are the number of cells where the table is distributed. If that's correct, just say okay. Now when you click on OK, see the menu has been updated with the table design. Now here I can give this package a name. So let's call it car inventory. Car inventory, car inventory, let's say 1. So car inventory 1, that's my name of the table. So what I did, I have compiled a complete row and data column set into one object called car inventory table. Because it's a table, that's why it's a car inventory. Now could you see the difference here? Here I got those header rows already what you can say differentiated from the table, and table got some different color combination. In my Excel, this was the format which normally was a default. Could you change this format? Yes, you can. You can go to the layout and change this table format. But let's, or you can click here and you can apply different what you can say format to these tables. Let me see these. So this is my table format other than default. Okay, so now this is an object which I am going to use for my pivot tables, right? Now let me select the records from these what you can say from this object, right? Now I'll go to insert again and I'll say tables, pivot tables. Just observe what we are doing. So what is pivot table as far as Excel goes? Easily arrange, summarize complex data into pivot tables. You can double click the value and see which detail value make up in a summarized total. Okay, so let me click on pivot tables. Now it pops up a kind of dialog box. So what is this dialog box? This talks about select table or range. Now here I can clearly see the name of the object which I am referred to. Otherwise, normally you will see rows and columns here. But as we know, the data is separated from the header row. So once you have an object to refer to, all these headers and different objects or different attributes to the object are being differentiated here. So we have an object called car inventory 1. That's my object. I'm going to process with the pivot tables. Then here choose where you want the pivot table to be placed. Let's work it out in a simpler way to right now, and then we'll go to the complicated way. The simplest way is basically have a new worksheet. So here we're going to click on have a new worksheet, or in existing location worksheet you might give them a location in terms of rows and data cross sections, right? So here and you can basically add this to a data model also. We'll understand this data model. Well, let me explain the data model right away, don't worry. So data model is basically whatever pre-programmed pivot table actions you have done, they'll be stored as a template. So whenever you start working as an in an organizations, you might get this data model as a template given to you. We'll see that afterwards, how we can have this template used for different actions here. In a day-to-day work, whenever a data analyst work there, we normally have similar data given to you so that you can use similar data models again and again. Here we are learning for the first time. So let's go ahead with the simplest possible execution. So we have selected the object called car inventory. We are doing it in a new worksheet, right? And let's not complicate the matter with data models as now. So I'll say okay. Now see what happened. Could you see changes on the screen? So we have something like pivot tables on our left hand side. On our right hand side, we have a pivot tables fields here. So you can choose the field to add to report. And then we have these 4 quadrant filters, columns, values, and rows. Okay, let's try to understand this from our presentation first, and then we'll go and try to update the pivot table in a more what you can say more fruitful manner. Okay, so here what we are trying to do, what the hell is going, okay, so here create a pivot table. We have gone, after clicking the pivot tables, we get to the adjacent dialog box. Let's understand this first. So data is already selected. So we can guide the Excel for some recommendations we have seen if the click as in pivot tables to be created in a new sheet, and we'll get the screen as a next slide. So let me move to the next slide. Okay, now this is what we got. So what we got, we have a pivot table on our left hand side, and we have pivot table fields as in here, 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 here. Now these are the 4 options we have. We have.
Sir, I want to say something.
Yeah, go ahead, ma'am.
Sir, the file you have shared with us is like not letting me edit anything. So do we need access or like?
Come again. Sorry, I couldn't. Could you speak a bit?
The practice file you have shared with us for practice, like this car inventory. So it's not letting me edit anything.
Could you see on the top enable editing, enable for editing or something like that?
Showing a request edit access from the person.
No. On the top of your Excel sheet, whatever you open, there could be a button called.
You can do different way. You can save it.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say. I downloaded it.
So you can do this way. Save it in another sheet.
Okay.
Yeah, you can download, save it, and open it.
Now, could you able to edit it, ma'am?
No, I'm trying.
File, save as, go to file.
Okay, save. Okay. Normal save as I have to do. Okay, I'll try. Okay, you can.
Okay, is it working for you, madam?
Yeah, just.
Okay, sure. No problem. Okay, so here we have these 4 quadrants, or you can say drag field, and so on and so forth. Now let's try to understand the relation. We have a data in the background, so we have that object attached to this pivot table process. Now in the pivot table, what I have, we have a pivot table to be constructed on our left hand side of your screen. Then we have these pivot table fields, and then we have these drag fields. So what are these drag fields?
Yes, sir, it's working now.
Hello?
Yes, sir, it's working now.
Okay, thank you. In the drag fields, we have 4 separate quadrants where we have filter, rows, columns, and value. Let's try to understand one by one. So whatever filter you want to apply, you can drag these fields to these different quadrants. You can click the field and drag with the mouse to any of these quadrants, and they'll basically apply in those 4 different functionalities. So filter means you are filtering something. So there should be a data, and then you filter with this filter. Then we have columns. So columns in the sense, these are the categories or types we are talking about. So if you want to select a particular category, you normally go to the columns. If you want to select particular rows, particular records, you can go to the records, and then there are values. In values, we have different options like the mean, median, mode, average, summary, and so on and so forth. Pivot table is also called as a summary table. So whenever interviewer asks you what is a summary table, he's talking about the pivot tables. So pivot tables is a functionality in advanced Excel where we will learn to filter or to build a better model in an Excel sheet. And that's how we can normally model our data which is given to us in a pre-formatted data model, or we can create the specific data model on the fly which we want to apply to the given data, and then present it for the business requirement, present it to the client, reporting officer, or anybody who basically requested to analyze the data to you. And the analysis is shows in a model as one of the slide on your presentation, and then in other slide you might give an English like analysis. Okay, like the costliest car is this one, the best profit making car is this one, and so on and so forth. We're going to learn this thing, how we can model this for as a data analytical process. If you want to know how many car per model and color, how do I find the drag make from the right top rows below in the below with the mouse? Check what happens on this worksheet. Okay, now let me go back to the Excel sheet. So first of all, what we'll do, the first we'll drag the make to the rows quadrant. Okay, so let me take back to the Excel. Where's Excel? This is my Excel. Okay, due to some, okay, let me do this way so that full screen. Okay, now what I'll do, I'm going to drag make to the rows. Could you see? Could you observe? I'll do Control Z again. This was like pivot table before. Now what I do, I'll basically drag, select, click on this model and, oh, come on, sorry. I'll click on this make and drag it to the rows column. Could you see this can be dragged anywhere? Okay, I'm dragging it to the rows. Could you see what happened here? Now we have rows labels and we have just selected different make whatever available in my data sheet, in my data set. So if I go back to the data set, I can see different makes here. Okay, so Honda was one, Toyota was one, Nissan was one, then I have Ford and Chevrolet. So and Dodge as well. So these are the different makes available here. So I have Chevrolet, I have a Dodge, Ford, Honda, Nissan and Toyota. This has been arranged as per the arranged in the alphabetical order. So there are many functionalities in the background as far as pivot table goes. They let you apply those functionality by default. So whenever I select something, the data is arranged in a ascending order of our alphabets. If it's a what you can say alphanumeric data. If it's a numeric data, we'll normally we'll see how it's get applied. Okay. Now I'll go back to my presentation and I'll try to understand what all things we need to do further. Drag the model in the same rows quadrant and observe the changes. We observe, right? Now we have a tree with make and model. Now, okay, now I need to go to model and drag it to the rows quadrant again. Okay, now let me show you this thing again. I'm going to Excel. I'm going to drag model. I've selected model and drag it to the rows column also. So I have two different make and model in the rows, and these are the rows basically. So when you talk about a Chevrolet, we have Impala, Malibu and Silverado. So these are the three different models in the Chevrolet branch. Then we have Dodge, we have a Charger. In the Ford, we have Escape, F-15, Fusion and Mustang. These are the four models for the Ford cars we have in our data set. So here we have arranged the data set in a hierarchical model. So Nissan have Altima and Maxima, Toyota have Camry and Corolla, and it also give you a kind of grand total. Here we have not pulled data yet. We have not pulled the values yet. Okay, so pull a value. I can basically even have a model value in the values. Now could you see there are numbers? So here in Chevrolet I have two cars of Impala, one of Malibu and one of Silverado. So total cars I have in Chevrolet are 4. Now this value basically relates to the number of these entities available in my second column. So a value talks about number of repetition in a simplest possible way. Now even grand total have 24. So for this data, within this car dealership data, I have a kind of 24 cars in my hand as of today, or 24 cars are available to start my dealing. In case your data is pre-purchase data or something like that. So you can be making a strategy, or you are looking at the inventory at your car dealership. Depending upon the scenario and the time, the respective differences will be addressed. Does that make sense to you? Or anybody thinks magic is happening? They couldn't understand? Are you with me?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
I practice with you. Thank you.
Come again. Could you speak a bit louder?
No, I just follow with you. That's good to get. It's magical.
Oh, yes. It's a magical because, that's how Excel Advanced is. It looks magical sometimes. But if you could understand, I believe you can understand now how easy it is. Just click, drag, and you can do filtering, right? These are mostly selecting.
You just automatically, not need to manually.
Right. To do this table as an Excel analyst, it might took half an hour or so. But in pivot tables, you can get it done within 30 seconds. That's the beauty of pivot tables. That's why I want you to practice this thing. Play around with the data set. Okay, if you have any challenge to ask questions, and I'll be happy to guide you. But you have to work on these pivot tables, and mostly all the data analysts, they normally work on pivot tables extensively. So we need to get a hang of these pivot tables, how it works. Even if I tell you, a number of things, but you need to remember, unless and until you practice, pivot tables are a bit difficult. Many of the, even data analysts, they find it challenging, even if they are working for around 6-7 months. So yes, we need to practice on this, and that's why we have this home expense sheet. Okay, why home?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So what are all the challenges do you think that in the field, while working in the pivot table, what are all the challenges that they would come across? Maybe do you think that is it because if the requirement, based on the requirement, sometimes we might get confused what should be done based on the columns, rows, or what would be the challenges that we would come across in the pivot table?
Really great question, ma'am. The way you apply pivot tables is what we need to learn, what we need to understand, what we are looking for and where we are going, or rather what we have done and how the data is changed. Now, if I go to the data in the car inventory, here I can observe. That's why I've selected smaller data. And I'm going to give you a bigger data where you can practice as well, or you can practice in a simpler way to start with, like home expense. Do it on your own, and if you have challenge, we can discuss it further. But right now, what we are trying to do, we are trying to understand a meaningful information from the data given to us. Like here, if I go to my pivot table now, I can clearly see, I can clearly see how many cars I'm considering to purchase, or how many cars I have purchased. Total 24. So there are 3 Chevrolet types of car. Total 4 cars I'm trying to purchase. In terms of Dodge, even the Dodge Charger, I have 3 cars available. In the Ford, I have 5 cars available. Honda 5, Toyota 5, and so on and so forth. So I'm trying to procure, or I have procured 5 Ford cars, 5 Honda cars. Believe me, Ford and Honda are the maximum selling brand in North America. Again, there could be some here and there differences, but yes, these are the maximum selling car. Honda is the most imported car in North American region, and Ford is the most used car among the overall total population. If you look at grads or undergrads, they normally go for the Dodge type of vehicle, Dodge Neon, Dodge Charger. These are economical cars, small cars. Okay, and then there are costly and economical cars. Here we need to understand how much where am I and what type of cars can be sold. So as we can clearly see, Ford and Honda are the most sold car across in a used car market. Honda is at a bit higher price. Ford it has at a cheaper price, because Ford is American brand. Honda is an imported brand, mostly imported from China, Korea, and all those Eastern countries. And that's how in North America we try to understand the dealership problem. We try to relate to the dealership, because I know every one of us drive a car, right? And they know when I talk about Honda, when I talk about Ford, when I talk about Chevrolet, and so on and so forth. So Honda and Toyota are the most used brand. If you want to get a mix and match from an imported or American brand, then you might go for Nissan. It's a kind of a median where we have Altima and Maxima. I used to have Nissan Altima, which is really great car. Believe me, I've driven it for around 4.5 hours. Then I go on for Honda Civic, which is a smaller car. It's a two-seater with a will have seat in back, but still it's a two-seater, or it's called coupe, if someone pronounce it that way. So these are different type of cars we are analyzing. But as madam have clearly said, we need to understand what we have, and we need to understand where I have to reach. And for that, there might be some permutation combination. But as you can do this permutation combination within seconds. So it's really a very helpful thing for us. And that's what we're going to understand today. How to use pivot tables to apply our best of knowledge. We'll try to sort out which is the car which can give me maximum profit. So in case if I am not procured anything, I might go in for procuring more of a profitable cars rather than less profitable cars, and we'll see how we can achieve those things. Okay, so here we have just added 2 selections of my fields into the rows quadrant only, and then I have added one to the values called count of model. Okay, let me do a control C. Oh, come on, sorry, control Z. So when I do control Z, it basically undone the last thing. So undo these things wherever model is added to the value. And if you can see, these are just the hierarchical data. So here we have cars and models displayed in my pivot tables. Let me take back to the presentation and then we'll progress it systematically. So here we have models, and then we understood the number of models, right? Now let's say drag the model in the rows column that we did. We have a tree with model and branch. You can do a collapsing and everything. Now drag color columns. Now drag color to columns. Let's drag colors to column. Share Excel sheet, the colors to columns here. Oh, could you see what happened? So now we have all these tree structure. You can close and okay, let me do control Z first. This is a kind of tree. So if you close it, you can just have the what you can say, more makes, right? So these are just the make. Now let me show you some options available in a Excel so that we can basically work on them. Okay, always show the ribbon. Now here I can do a collapse all, or this thing, if I go to the, where are those options? In the view, I believe, right? Man, this is really small thing. Do you have in homes? No. Conditional formatting, not. Insert. Not in this, right? In the formulas, there's a collapse all and expand all kind of options available here. You can do it this way by clicking the plus and minus, or otherwise you can basically there are option called collapse all, or oh man, these versions of Excels are different. In the view, okay, or pivot table, or in design. No, not in design. No. View, arrange all, cascade, no, not in arrange all. There should be some options called collapse all or expand all kind of scenario. I don't know why I can't find it out. I worked on it yesterday, but that's okay, no problem. Okay, let it be. Let me show you some. Come again, ma'am.
In recent versions, I think you can directly do it on the right click on the item, and then you can collapse or on the ribbon.
Okay, yeah, expand and collapse are available here, so you can you can click here. Yeah.
Yes, directly.
In the older version, you have out here because
and nowadays then you can do the right click and
wow.
No hitting.
Good singing, good singing. Okay. So these are the options available here. So this way we can basically address this tree, right? And I can do expand or expand the entire field. So it expands. Now what I will do, I'll close again because here I have color in the columns. So I have now colors segregated across various colors. So what I will do, so here what we are trying to do, we are trying to basically understand how these data given to us can be segregated in different columns so that the types are get applied to this data. So we have all these columns across, in terms of colors. Now, if you want to have a number, I can go to the model and move it to the values. Oh, come on. So that I can get the number of models. Now here, as we can see, if I want to have a count of red cars, I'll just click on the E, and the total is basically 3. So I have 6, is this blue? Okay, 6 black cars, and overall 3 blue, 3 green, 3 red, 6 silver, and 3 white cars. So total is 24. These are different type of cars I have with me. Now I'm talking about cars in terms of colors. If I remove these colors, how do you remove it? Click it and bring it here. Then I'll go to the price and I'll put it in the value, in the values column. So here I got a price. So as you can see, the Chevy, we have 4 car at an average price of these things, right? And then we have Impala is the costliest one, and Malibu is the what you can say, cheapest one. Okay, this is not average, this is a sum total. It's a sum of price. Okay, now if I click on these values, this is a drop down, right? If I go to the value and if I click on these things, then we have these things, different fields we can filters we can apply in terms of value field setting. So here, if I click on value field, the current is sum of price. Then I have a count. Count is basically the count which already have. So I can do average, minimum, max, and so on and so forth. Please play around with these things so that you'll apply. We have standard deviation, standard deviation, count numbers, and blah blah thing. Please play around with this. You can also have a number formatting done, right? So if I want to use dollar as in currency, I can go to the, well, it normally comes to rupee, and then I have to select the oh, come on, English Canadian dollar. Let's look at this. So these are basically changed into the dollars one. So these are basically different permutation combination we need to use, and this is how I can make the report more usable. Now here what I have this data. When you have a look at it, and I have this data. So what it means, the data has been already filtered, segregated, disciplined in terms of car, or the make of the car, then model of the car, the respective count of the model, respective sum of price, as well as individual price of a car. So this way I can clearly understand wherever I have the maximum price, maximum cost. I can also include cost here in terms of values. I select the thing and I've included here. Now I have the cost also. I have not formatted this cost column, but still I can clearly see you know how to format this in terms of these columns. There are options available in the menu, or you can do it with the selecting, right click, and so on. So okay, let me take back to my presentation and let's do it in a more disciplined way in terms of how we can understand it the best. So what we did, we have learned how to create a pivot tables, how to address those different fields into filters, columns, rows, and values. How do we do it, and when to do what? It again depends on your experience, depends on your practice, and then you'll be able to address it very efficiently, effectively. So that's why we need to do some practice here. It's not as simple as charts. It's a bit difficult. So you need more practice on this. So please do practice. Do practice on your home expense sheet as we discussed in the last session. Now pull the values and understand what happened to the go to analyze and try to expand and collapse and observe the difference. Let's see if I can calculate my margin and profit by making rows. Will have make and price values in the right bottom quadrant. So right bottom quadrant is my value quadrant. Let's try to calculate the profitability here. Profitability across the models and make. Okay. So how do I do it? What is my profit or what is my margin? I'll say I'll just I can add a row and I can do it this way, or I can do it even automatically as well. Okay, let me show you what to do and then we'll come back to the Excel. Okay, now here, Now we to go to analyze. In analyze for calculating profit, click on insert calculated field. Now these are what we can say calculated field. So I have two fields. I have two columns with a sum of price, count of make or sum of cost or something like that. Now I want to derive a cost. So I want to apply some margin with the price and the cost and get a calculated field in additional column EF, whatever you are doing it, right? So here what I do, I'll go to analyze and click on, click on calculating, insert calculated field. Okay. And when you do that, let me, go back to the insert. You'll get this pop-up called name field 1 formula. There's nothing formula, and then we can process on this field. Okay, let me try to show you how we can do it, right? So I'll go here, I'll share Excel with you. Could you see my Excel sheet here?
Yes.
Then I'll go to, oh come on,
Ribbon. Oh,
yes, go ahead, sir. Do you have any question?
no.
Nothing. So here I'll go to here I'll go to with the analyze thing on. In data, select this thing first. Okay, in this I'll go to analyze, and here there should be, oh come on, insert a new field. Where do I insert the new field? Man, this is quite confusing. There's no data. I have to go to analyze. Where's the analyze thing? Man, go to the analyze action. Insert a field. Now insert a field. I want to insert in. Oh, come on. Insert. I'll go to insert. No. Go to insert field. This is really,
Now, if you want to insert for each and every, you can right click on that particular item and then do the insert, expand or collapse. Like, I'm not sure. If you want to
let me PROFIT. I want to have a profit field here, and I want to insert here. Have a calculated field. That's what it clearly says. So insert power chart. Not it should be a field, right? So data. Go to data analyst. Okay, moving average. And they don't have calculated field here. This is a difficult one. Insert formulas. In formulas, I should be able to add a field, right? Or I can say function. Let's do it with the function list. So I want to have there's no differences. Let's say some function brief. I want to have a PRO profit or margin, and then I'll say here I'll say number 1, this one, and number 2 I'll say this one. I'll say, and I have to have, now they have given me the sum. So rather than sum, I want to have it's not sum of cost, it's a difference of cost. So is this a function?
in In 365, it's very easy. Like you can use it like any other field. You can do the
Yeah,
functions.
basically that's what I have tried with 2013 yesterday. It was really, you get these analyze, as you can see on these screenshot. Oh, come on. As you can
I'm
see
just
on
telling-
this
I'm
Office
just-
336, I see the pivot analyze, and if I click over there, is easily go through. But
yeah, here we have in analyze you can add insert calculated field, and then you can add whatever formulas, like you get this insert calculated field. Let me check with this in Excel where I can insert calculated field, or I can go to the let me go to the Google and okay, I need to show you, right? So let me where's the share? Okay, zoom.
So you
Share
need to click on the pivot table and then it will show that option.
NSERT cal CULATED calculated field in pivot table. Oh, come on, calculated field in pivot in EXCL 2021. This is my 2021. Click on pivot table, go to analyze tab, create calculation group field items and sets. Okay, so I need to go to okay, come on, let me go back to the Excel sheet. Okay, this is the Excel sheet. So here I'm in the pivot
Hi,
table.
sir. Can you go to the calculation?
Where here calculation options.
Yeah, option. No, not that one. If you have 1 second.
Okay.
I have it. I found that one actually.
Which version of Excel are you using, ma'am?
The version of Excel 2021.
Same thing, right?
You have a field and items and sets.
Field and items in
which header? Which header? The
which
top
menu?
of the header, like
Menu.
yeah.
Which
No,
ribbon?
this is a pivot analyze ribbon. There is a move pivot table. Next to move pivot table, there is a field, item, and set. In calculation field, there is
Which
a
menu
lots of
item
options.
you are talking about, ma'am?
Let me
Profit.
give you the screenshot.
Calculation. Can I share and show you?
Yeah, sure.
I got it
Or
actually.
also I can share if you want to see.
Okay, give me a minute, ma'am. Oh, come on. I need to go to participant. Yeah, I am making you co-host. Shimi ma'am, you can showcase now, and I'll make co-host to the Hrini ma'am also. Yeah, Shimi ma'am, could you share?
Yes, 1 second. I'm sharing.
Sure.
Are you able to see my screen?
It takes a minute. Yes, I can, ma'am.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
if you see that this field here, calculation field, here is a field and item.
No,
So,
go back, go
No,
back.
this is this is the new
yeah,
version.
this is
No,
the
no.
one. If you click on this field and item, there
no.
is a calculated field and insert
No,
calculated.
Shimu, this is the new version. So we're talking about
This
the
is
2020.
365. We are talking about
Yeah, so-
2021. This is a 365, ma'am.
Yeah, that's why we just keep our mouth because we have
Oh,
a
you don't
three.
have it?
Okay, it's the same thing in 2013 as well. Means you get this
Yes, you.
as I showed in the screenshot. So that's a easy, but 2020, I don't know why they make the life so complicated. But no problem. So I believe, okay, just do that. Okay, insert a calculated field. Just do that. Okay, click on OK.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no problem. Do the share again. No problem. Let's
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay.
Yes. Now we want to insert a, okay, go click on that again. Click in F4 F4 first. F4 4 down that below that. A cell below that, ma'am. You clicked on
Oh,
the head.
F4. Okay. This one, right?
Yes, because what we are doing, we are trying to do data these things, right? Go to analyze tab. Okay, where's the analyze tab?
Pivot.
No.
Under data, go to the data ribbon.
Go to the data menu. This is a menu item. Ribbon is the below, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah, that's the menu.
Yeah, click on data. Okay. and go to, oh man, no, there's no option here. Click
What
on that.
option you are looking for?
Okay, click on that, outline. There's a, could you see my mouse? Click on here. Here.
Where is your
Outline, no, in the, on the ribbon, the last section, group, ungroup, subtotal.
yes.
Yeah, click on that downgoing arrow. There's a downgoing arrow. Yeah, move to, yeah, click on that. No, these are the setting one. Okay, cancel that one. This is a really challenging thing. We couldn't get the analyze tab here. That's the same thing. Could you let the Harini ma'am? Could you please share your?
Sir, you need, one needs to click on the pivot table somewhere, then it will appear.
Okay, we need to go to the pivot table again. Okay, let me try to do it my way. Madam, let me share my screen. Let me try it. Here. Could you see my Excel?
Not yet. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a bit of time. I go on here, and there is this analyze tab, right? So I'll say analyze, and then where was that? Then the design. No. There it should have action. Fill list. I want to insert.
Can you click on the pivot table?
Can you try with
Pivot.
I found something said data.
Yeah, in data.
And they say a group. I'm sorry, not the data. I'm gonna give me a moment. I just found it right now. They say CS data. Then if you found the group under on the ribbon, they have a group. And if you click over there, they have an auto outline. Then you can find the row and column.
Where are you seeing, ma'am? Which menu item you're talking about?
I'm talking about the data.
Data, right? I mean data.
And I didn't see the group. It's supposed to be coming group. Anything coming group?
Could you put analyze data on the search and see, because every version has got its own way they put it.
I know, yeah, that's a painful thing.
You see the group. You see the group.
Let me go back to the Google where we are searching, right? Where's the Google thing? Yes, here it says go to analyze tab. This is a version, I think, this is version they normally talk about 365 only. That's the challenge. No, okay.
I have 365 because 365 it is very direct actually.
Okay, ma'am. Could you share your screen? Let's go ahead with that.
Why am I not able to share? Yes. Are you able to see? Okay. So I was, while you were teaching, I was trying to play with different types. So I have, this is 365 actually.
Right.
If you see in 365, if you click here, there is analyze data right here.
Okay, click on that.
But here it says we can't create suggestions based on the pivot tables.
Okay. No, how do you calculate your profit, ma'am?
How I calculated it is very, it is straightforward. It was straightforward. That's what it was, like yet another calculated field.
How do you added that field? That's what,
you should go the same thing. When I go my pivot table analyze, I see the field items and sets. When I click it, then
okay, you did it the mathematical way. Okay, this is a manual. But you should be able to, okay, let me do one thing. Let me formulate a video and paste it in the group after our session for how to do it automatically. This I can do, ma'am. Means let me, share my screen, please. Okay. let me share
I'll
my
stop.
screen.
I'll
The
stop.
manual way is basically PROFIT profit, and then as we normally know, click here equal to. So what are my profit for JB Impala? This minus this and enter. So this is my profit. There's a difference between these two, right? Okay, let me format these columns so that you can understand what I'm talking about. So I'll add a dollar sign here, right? So this is, and I'll add a dollar sign here as well, so you can understand how are the, oh come on, how are the difference being calculated here. Okay, but this is a manual way to do it. There's an automated way. Let me showcase you those things. Again, I can just pull this thing throughout, this thing, so that every profit, oh no, not that one. Oh come on. Here, sorry, equal to this minus this and enter. Okay, now I'll just extend these things. Oh come on. Oh man. Okay, I need to apply the formula. So I need to apply formula here. Well, there's a dollar sign, so it should work. Okay, let me do Control C, Control V. No, not that one. I need to paste the formula values. No formula. Why is not working? A3 is 3. No, okay, there should be a dollar. Okay. Let me. There shouldn't be a dollar here. It should get increase. No, it's still not open. There should be this 4, right? It should implement, right? No. Okay. What's the challenge here? Equal to.
This is the Harney answer. What is the basically challenge the report table?
So I need to do it manually. I don't know why, because the calculated fields are really easy. Oh, sorry. But yeah, this way you can do it manually. But let me find a video. Let me build a video with the older version of Excel. I don't know why this is really making life difficult.
What is the version that you're using, sir?
2021.
Okay, maybe 365 is more flexible than, I mean, I just do it
I
like
think there's a problem here, most probably. I don't know why. Give me a minute. Let me start the other version, means the older version, and I can showcase you better. Give me a minute. But yes, there's a challenge with this. Okay. Let me get it. This is a bit difficult there. Give me a minute. So here there are some challenges in terms of using Excel. Most probably you'll get Office 360 Excel, but I don't know, 2021 is giving me some challenge. So let me sort that Excel out, and I just found it right now. So let me go ahead with the older version and guide you how we can use this, how we can do the same thing in the Excel 2013, which is the kind of oldest you can get, right? So let me join into the Zoom. What is that? Okay. And yes, give me a minute. So here we have and I do make myself as a host, right? Uh, okay. Hello, could you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Now let me start my Excel here. Car inventory. Okay. Now let me delete this sheet. Yes. Here we were, and this was basically we are talking about, right? So here, if I go to let's see, let me add the price, cost. Oh man, okay. Now count of price rather than I have value of price, right? So I'll select here and I'll use sum of price, okay, and similarly sum of cost as well. Sum of cost. Okay, could you see here? Could you see my Excel sheet? Now
Yeah.
here I'll just basically apply it to the currency format, and whatever I can see I can improve it. Now this is my Excel version. Excel version 2012. Now here, if I click here and if I go to formulas, it's really simple. In the data, insert. There's an analyze data tab. Okay, so analyze, and here I have same thing like come on, yes, insert a calculated field, right? So I want to insert a calculated field, PROFIT, profit, okay, and formula is basically I'll use sum of price. So I have price, okay, insert field minus, and I have a cost here, and I'll insert field. I'll say okay. Okay, what it did. So they have included a field called sum of profit. Could you see that?
Yeah,
Yes.
this is
You want
2012.
to come again?
This is 2012 version, right?
No, this is a 2013 version, 1.3.
Okay,
Let me
2013.
showcase you. If I do a F1 on this, you'll go to the F field, and I'll go to the version, and I'll say search.
11.
Yeah, see, oh come on. Okay, I need to go to the file, and I'll go to account. Could you see Office 13? This is Office 13.
Yes.
So it's quite older version. But yeah, I have purchased this thing when I was in North America, so I use this version. I like this version. I don't know why. Now I can see there are some challenges with 2021, or I don't know, with my version of Excel. So these things do happen. So
No, you were able to analyze. You were able to add
let me
that,
do it again.
add the calculated, but in
Let me do
previous
it
one,
again. Let me do it again. Yeah. I delete this thing. Oh, come on. Okay. What the heck? Okay, I don't know. Okay, I need to go to analyze, and I can basically field and calculated field. So I can add from anywhere. So I'm adding a kind of let's say margin. I want to add it to a margin, right? And in formula, see, I have not specified where to add. The pivot table does it on its own. That's the beauty of it. Let me check out if I can do Control C here. No, I can't do control Z. Man, that's a that's a bummer. Let me try to they have not sum of profit. Okay, click here and move here, so it will get deleted. Right now, I have selected these fields. Right, so here I'm going to a analyze tab, and I say field items, and I'll say I want to add a calculated field. So I'll say calculated field, and I want to add a field called margin, margin. Could you see my screen here? And
Yes,
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
in formula, they have given me some raw formula here. So what I do, I'll go here, I'll delete this, 0. I'll add a field called price cost, and I'll say insert, and then I'll insert a minus because I want to reduce this thing from the cost from the price. So this is my formula here, and I'll say add. Okay. So it added a new, sum of margin, but which is not, formatted in a currency. If you use the latest version, it's normally applies the currency field also. So how do I do it manually? I'll just select the data, or I can just select the column, and I click on this accounting number format, like dollars, euros, and other currency. I'll click on dollars. So it added with the dollars. Now I don't know why these are not done. Yeah, but here we go. So here are my profit margin. So let's look at it. Which is the maximum profit I can incur in where? So in black, in Dodge, in black Ford, I'm incurring. I can get a profit, or I can get a margin of 1655. If I go to, is there any? Okay, if I want to find, if I want to do a sort on this, I'll just click here. I'll just right click, sort, largest to smallest, right? I'll click on largest to smallest. So see, sum of margin, my largest margin. Okay, okay, I have added the summary figure. So I don't want to add the summary figure in between, right? So what I'll do, I'll go back. I'll basically move make from the rows. Rather, I'll move color from the row because I don't want color here. So now what I got price, I got cost, and I got margin. And if I sort this out in terms of largest to smallest, now here I got the largest profit I'm getting in the Honda sum of cost. Now the color count is full. Rather than color count, I might have summarize value by, not grand total, but I can do it with the not that one. So now I can insert basically, let's say color in the, let's say filter column. So if I select any color like black, oh come on, and I'll say okay, now only black color cars are here listed. So the best margin I'm getting in the black Ford. Now I'll select again, I'll select blue. Okay, and this way. Otherwise, I can have this color filter in my columns as well. Could you see what's happened here? And then I'll basically, where's the margin? This is my sum of margin, right? In sum of margin, so I have sum of cost, sum of count. No, that's not the right way. So let me do Control Z, and I'll add color in values. Let me check out if I have color in values, it says count. So in my count, I can go here, and I can basically the product of a color. No, not that one. So I need to basically create this count of color into rows. Okay, now I have the tree, and here I can go to the analyze tab, and I can have expand all, right? So I'll select these ones, and I'll say expand all. Could you see like how I can represent the data, right? So I have a grand total. So total investment on this shop is basically 78. Total sum of margin I can get is 11 or rather 12K, and the total cost, total spending is of 66K. So if I invest 66K, I'll get basically 11K as in profit. And this is how you can basically calculate or make use of these best profitable margins here, or the best use of this car inventory table, okay, as we did it in Excel. Could you understand this?
Yes,
Anybody
sir.
have any confusion? Anybody want me to do it again?
No,
Keep
the
playing.
only challenge is every version we are not able to, we are not very confident with the items under the ribbon items under each and every maneuvering.
Yes, ma'am. There is a challenge, and yes, we need to practice on our own desktop laptop so that we are comfortable with the versions we have. You have the latest, and most probably Office 365 is the version you'll get whenever you start working. But some offices might have older version, not lesser than 2010. Okay, so there are 4 different versions here, and yes, you need to find out where to click and where to the formula is can be applied from which of the ribbon or the menu. Again, these are the home, insert, these are the menu items, and these are the ribbon items. Ribbon in the sense it looks like ribbon, they call it ribbon. And then you have all these different options. In 2013 it's just click click click, and you get those ribbons. You can make it pinned and pin not, and so on and so forth. And this is what the formula tab here. So you can see the formula and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is how you need to play around with the Excel. And this way you have to try it on, let's say, what you can call your home expensing, which will give you a clear-cut guide how you can use this in a more proactive manner. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And please do practice so that you can achieve the actual thing. Now let me show you another really great way here. I'm just improving these what you can say. Okay, let me start that presentation here, and I can share that presentation with you. No, not this one. I believe I don't have. Okay, let me go to my data analytical presentation. Data analyst. Let me check out, right? Let me take you back to the Power Query thing. Oh, come on. Give me a minute, or let me show you, these things online. Forget it. Okay, here, if I want to Power Query, right? So I'll go to Insert. When I go to Insert, we have seen these things. There are even recommended tables also. Okay, let me show you the recommended tables again. If I click on recommended tables, could you see here? There are a few options. Some of mileage by make, some of price by color, some of cost, and this thing. There are a good number of different calculation here. So let's go to the sum of cost and insert in a new pivot table. See, this is a new pivot table. So this is what the model, sum of cost, sum of price, and sum of mileage. So it's just a kind of comparison we are talking about. Now, as we learned in the last, what you can say, last sessions, how to insert charts and all, right? So what I'll do, I'll just select these things and I'll apply not the grand total. I'll go to insert and I'll go to, let's say, which chart do you like the most? Let me go ahead with the multiple chart base. So here, as you can clearly see, these are the charts which I have made, right? And if you update these things, like in car inventory, if you make it, if you change the mileage, let's change the mileage of these, 55 to 155. So I'm changing the mileage of, Nissan car Altima Green to 155. And here, if you go to the sheet, I might have to refresh these things, refresh, and see, you can see the difference. Now Nissan, no, they are according to the color, right? So if I go to the color, what I've changed, oh, come on, in the car inventory, I've changed the color of green car to 155. So in the sheet, in the green car, this have increased. So if I do Control Z here, you can see, and I apply refresh to this, the actual thing does happen. So this way, you can just present these things click here. You can do a copy. You can, go to your PowerPoint, blank presentation. And here you can simply paste it. Oh, sorry. Could you see my PowerPoint presentation? You know, I forgot what all you're seeing. What all you are seeing right now on your screen?
We were able to see the chart,
PowerPoint.
the chart being pasted.
Okay, okay. So okay, you're looking at the Excel sheet. Okay, let me share my PowerPoint presentation here. No, no, select the window or screen. So I want to share you entire screen. So allow. Now could you see my screen, right? Now here, could you see my Excel sheet?
Yes.
Now could you see my presentation, a blank presentation, and I have copied that chart there. This is the chart which you can see, you can present it, you can give the title like car VENTURY, car inventory NALY size analysis. So these type of thing you can analyze this thing, or you can apply. Let's do some meaningful chart here. So I'll go back to the Excel. Could you see my Excel here? This is the analysis which we have done, right? On car inventory. Or here, let's change something. Rather than mileage, I don't want mileage. So here are the basically a price, but I want the model. So let me improve the include model also. So here I have a chart which is much meaningful as per the different car model which I talk about is get updated automatically, right? Could you see whatever changes I make here is get updated automatically there. So that's the fun of it. And I pasted as a simple this thing. Now I can increase this thing to a level where you can see clearly how it's being shown. So here I have all these models and grouped by the color this thing here. And then here I have all these different graphs. So the basic inventory in terms of cost is the biggest with the silver charges from Dodge, and this way I can present this analysis to the seniors, and this is how you can improve it. Again, if I go back and if I change something, rather than model, I'll put it model here. Now I have just grouped it with the model. So these are the 3 lanes of my models. The count of model is I don't need count. I need basically sum of models. No. What is product actually? Product is basically product of the model. No, I want categorize. Let me move to the legends of these things. No. Black, green, silver, and the other cost. The 8,001 is basically the total of some of these things. I think I need to basically exclude this cost. Well, let me try this again. I'll delete this thing. I'll select just the data, and I'll apply some insert. I'll apply some, let's say let's do it this one and this one. So I don't need sum of cost, sum of price, or sum of model. Let me try to filter it out. It's filtered by this thing, right? By sum of price. Okay, sum of where I mentioned the model got lost. So if I filter it by model, here I can go with the model. So if I choose Accord, and I have now just the Accord, blue one, red one, silver one. If I choose Corolla, this one. If I want to choose multiple item, and I can choose whatever I want. So Civic, Corolla, Ford F50, and I'll say okay. Now this is how basically you have to play with. How do you want to interpret the data, whatever you have collected till then? Okay.
Did
Now,
you insert the slicer? Sir, did you insert the slicer here for the model?
yes,
Or
ma'am.
without
Filters are the slicers.
Yes.
Okay, so if you want to have the legend, you can put it here. So I got all the legends here in terms of black, blue, silver color, and sum of cost and sum of. These are the price we are referring to, and these are the different models across the legends or series, and it's summed up. And then you can also filter it here in terms of what type of model. So you can add more models also. So you have basically a kind of complicated graph to be explained to these things. You can increase the size, shape, and everything as well. This is a 3D graph. You can choose some different graph as well. If I go to insert, if I want the area graph, donut graph, means you can make your life as complicated as you want, and these are the combo graphs. So choose whatever you can, basically explain it in your own own way, which you are comfortable in, rather than what I am comfortable in. Okay, play around with it, with the data, so that you can understand how things are changing. Now what we need to relate, we need to relate a data with a representation, as simple as that. And that's what we can do easily with these pivot tables. And pivot tables is such a great advanced kind of well, a line graph might not be the right one here, because all these conversions which you can see here are not correct, right? What they have did, they've plotted a point and they have collected the 2 points. So black going from 0 to 2000 doesn't make any sense. This is not a progression, right? Here we are talking about the blue cars, here we are talking about the black cars. So there's no relation in between these two. So that's why these are not the correct one. I think the best one is these ones, where you can understand the cross section of price, color, and the type of model, right? That's what we did. Price, cost. Even I can remove cost, frankly speaking. Now these are just a simple price. So if I look out for the price, accord price, accord is accord price, right? Accord white, there's no white accord, there's a silver accord, there's a red accord, and there's a blue accord. All these 0 means there's no model available there. Okay, these are the blanks what I was talking about, right? And the graphs which I have in terms of white, I just have a white Civic, I just have silver Corolla, I just have a red what I can say, I just have red Accord. And then in the blue, I have Accord blue. I have CRV blue. In the black, I have Camry. I have Corolla and F-150 as a black. So you can explain these things while presenting. So choose the chart type, choose the pivot table chart type as an what you could be able to explain. And if you try on your Excel, whatever you got, you'll get a hang of it, or how to do it, or there are manual ways. But I would really, suggest you to do it automatically. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But yes, practicing is a really important thing here. Unless and until you practice, you might not able to do it on your own. Of course, we are there to support you. But what I would really suggest is, do it on your own, and you'll understand, what type of, pivot tables you have to use, and, which type of versions you have. So you'll not get, things will not get complicated.
I have a question. So do you have any data set that goes with the business questions? I mean, business requirements. Say, for example, this is the data set, and these are all the big business. Do you have any exercise like that, a sample exercise?
We're going to do this. Yeah, I'll find that one, and I'll share you across. And we're going to do a good time of project, frankly speaking. That's what I want to, have those home expenses ready with you, so that you can do your thing. Otherwise, I'm going to give it to you. Basically, most probably, you can take this car inventory, frankly speaking, and try to find out, try to answer questions like which are the maximum number of cars I have in inventory, in terms of cross section of colors versus model, in terms of what is the most profit making car I can purchase. If I invest my total allowed money to the most profit making car, which is really a kind of best possible business model for you, and something like that. So there are questions you can prepare on your own, and these are what we call a business requirement. Now let me share with you. Prerna ma'am is going to take our next session, where she'll start with basically trying to guide you on business analysis. There'll be next 3 sessions or some more sessions on business analyst, and then I'll take over again. Okay, so there we will basically work it on a complete solution, as you say, from start to finish. I'll share some Excel with you proactively, so that you can play it on that, and then we'll answer some business like question, or you can try to prepare those things on your own. And at the end of the day, we might sync up, are our thoughts in sync or not, and those kind of business problem, or this is what we can say hands-on, on job kind of hands-on experiences. Does that make sense, ma'am?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely that would be helpful.
Yeah, sure. No problem. So, let's do that feedback session now. Okay. Let's start with Harini, ma'am. How do you find today's session, ma'am? And then you can nominate
It was
somebody
very
else.
helpful. It was very helpful, and there were a lot of things that as I was trying, I learned new things because of maybe it was the version difference or whatever. But I mean, it was very helpful. I could really play around with different combinations of moving around between the rows and columns and the values that I could reproduce different combination. It was very helpful.
That's really great. That's really great. Could you nominate somebody, ma'am?
Neha, to you.
Yeah, so today's session was really good, informative, and as pivot tables are really important and one of the important topics, and it was interesting learning this. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot. Could you please nominate someone else?
Sonia?
Yes, today's session is really helpful. We actually learn and we're facing the problem and we figure out if you have a problem, how to face it, how to figure it.
Great.
And that is the great session.
Yeah.
So we learn basically it's like one kind of practical. This is really great. I mean, this is grateful.
Yeah. Excel is all about practical, ma'am. Unless you try it out, it's really difficult, right?
Yes, this is true, and I'm just said because I told you I'm a fresher, but it could be helpful if you have a better knowledge. Like that's the Ravinder sir and anybody have a better knowledge, we can share each other. This could be more helpful. Like facing a problem and finding the solutions is gonna be more practical. Thank you.
Right.
And I'll nominate Shimu.
Oh, well, yeah, rather than the version, it was very informative for me. I learned with the pivot table to analyze the data different ways. Really helpful this session for me, actually.
Thank you. Plus, please do practice and please nominate anybody else, ma'am.
Yes, 1 second. I'm nominating.
We have Angirat sir, we have Emmanuel, we have Raja ma'am.
Yeah, Raja.
Raja
I'm
Lakshmi,
nominating
please.
Raja.
Come again, ma'am. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm nominating the Raja.
Yes. Raja ma'am, are you there? Let's go ahead with Angirat sir first. I believe Raja ma'am is not at her, this thing. Not at her seat. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I think today's session is very good. I see a lot of people using Microsoft Pivots, and it's very, very important in the real life job. And today's session is very interesting, and I didn't know about all the Excel version have different kind of things, because last time I tried to do the text split is not working on my Microsoft Excel, and today some of the function is not working on 2021 Microsoft Excel, but it's work on 2013, so it's like something new for me that I never know. And thank you so much to tell us how to play around with the Excel so we can know clearly what our Excel can do and cannot do. Thank you so much. I know nominate Emmanuel. I think he's the only one.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. In fact, it was a good session. But I've seen that with the different Microsoft, if you have a group of if you want to solve a problem in terms of a group, for instance, it's a problem because if you are searching for pivot chart tools, for instance, analyzing something, you see that in the other Microsoft version, you can't find it where the other one can find it. So that one is very challenging. Otherwise, it was a great session today. Thank you.
Which version are you using, Emmanuel, sir? Which version are you using? Could you check out version? I believe can't hear it. No problem, no problem. So thanks a lot for today's time. Please do practice. If you have any challenge, do let me know. I'll be happy to solve those things. Okay?
Sir, I have a question.
Please go ahead, ma'am.
So when is the next session? Is it on Monday or Wednesday?
It'll be on Monday, ma'am. And I think Prerna ma'am will guide you on that. And she will post it accordingly in our group. Okay? Let me update her and, we'll continue on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Have a good I have a question.
Good.
I am a little bit confused with the first question that I asked, like the beginning of the class. So as we know that Pythons and data visualization are so important in the data analyst. So do you think that should I also participate in Python data science too or not? I did the slide and flyer is like also part of the data analyst.
I couldn't get your question, sir.
My question is, should I participate or take a Python data science too or not?
You don't require to. You can get a job with data analyst with Excel. See, Excel data analysts are the most, what you can say, data analyst job, most, what you can say, progressive data analyst in North America and Canadian market today. Then there are, bit of, if you want to, I don't know the exact percent, but when we did a survey last month, they were around, I think, 65% plus data analysts which were using Excel as a prominent tool. And then we have Power BI and other tools. The Pythons are basically the data scientists we are talking about. So if you're applying for data analyst, you don't need to learn this programming language. And I know it's a bit difficult in that scenario also. If you want to join, you can definitely join data science class, but that's not the need. You can still work with data analysts as an Excel. You tell them, like I told you in the start, you can tell them I'm started to learn Python, I started to learn R, and diplomatic you can say I don't know it completely as of now. If you want, I can give a good introduction in R as well as Python, and you can basically start on that. But again, it's a programming language, so you need to open the editor, you need to type something, you need to understand the command, how the computer will interpret, compile, and so on and so forth. So there are a bit of technicalities involved here. Here we are talking about doing life easily and trying to get anything and above 80K, 100K type of salary per year. With a data scientist, they normally pay above and beyond 200K per year. But still, it's a really hardworking job. Means as they pay so much dollars to you, they expect some good results, good things from you. To start your career in IT, we don't need to go there. The basic target or basic strategy of these programs, these trainings are getting you employed and start earning, right? That was the initial process or initial strategy where you can just start working, start earning, and then you can keep learning as well. So first and foremost, our strategy should be get our profiles approved from these within these RRP session. After that, I'll also help you to add those technicality to that, and then start applying, grab a job, and then we can start thinking about learning additional technologies, additional the skill sets, and so on. So please don't disturb your thought process in basically, please don't waste your time in learning new technologies as of now. Once you get a job, we might add these skill sets afterwards. Does that answer your question, sir?
Yes, thank you.
So, don't disturb yourself with R, Python, C, and all those type of programming language. It's a more labor work and more, what you can say, thought process intensive program. These are simple ones. And believe me, you can get a job with just Excel as a data analyst. That's my commitment to you. We will make sure you'll get a job above and beyond 80K per annum, $80,000 per annum. That's our commitment. That's Guruschools' commitment to you. Okay, so please don't worry, just practice on Excel. Make sure you know all these nitty gritty of chart, graphs, pivot tables, and if you can do these things, that's all the actual analyst means. You need to understand those 5 steps, and we need to understand on those repetitive questions, and we'll work on that. Don't worry, I'm there with you, and we'll even Prerna ma'am will help you out how to clear these questions, how to clear these obstacles called interview. Okay.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Most welcome. And we are there for you. Please don't worry. We'll make sure you'll get the job. But yes, you need to do some practice. You need to get yourself ready for those interviews first. Okay? Chalo then. Let me close today's session. Have a great weekend. Let's meet again very soon. Okay? Bye-bye. Take care. Good
Bye.
night.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.